talk to guys who right now that they may be struggling in their shame, and they're like, I hear guys talking about and the church talking about intimacy with God, but I just have too much shame. How do I bring the gospel into that so that I can really experience that intimacy that people talk about because they've never experienced it before?
Yeah, it's a fantastic question. Probably another whole podcast, but the long and short of it, I would say, is um, the first way to get over your hang up with your shame is to, and I don't, I use a phrase, and Ken, you know about, you've been in our church. I just say you have to have gospel friendships. Now, if that's a counselor, so be it. I don't, but just someone in your life that you can walk some things through. I went through, after the death of my father, I went through some real grief things that brought out extreme anger in me. And I just had to have a gospel friend for about 3 months. Every other week, we'd go hang and have a beer, and I would cry every time in my beer. But I had to have someone that I could expose it to. And sometimes that can be someone you know real well. It doesn't necessarily have to be. It just needs to be someone who's willing to listen and not, try to fix you. They just need to listen and let you kind of weather. Because otherwise, once the shame is built up in your mind, I would say getting it out, confessing it, or talking about it is half the battle. It's not all of it, but it's a good half. Until then, that shame will keep you from any intimacy with anyone, not just God. Right? Because I'm not letting you really see the real me. I'm not letting
Yeah.
you see what's really going on there. And once you start to share some of these things with a gospel friend, someone who deeply understands the gospel and cares and loves you, and are not perfect, of course, I'm not asking them to be perfect, but you share some of these things and they reply with loving, and it's not the end of the world to them, you start to realize, oh, the gospel really does work like this. And it starts to build up. And I think that carries off then into your relationship with God. And you start to realize, God, I can talk openly and honestly about some of these things that are really on my heart and on my mind, because I've seen the way you've worked in people as well to get that. So that would be my encouragement, is just get it out of the darkness, bring it into the light. And it's not pretty necessarily, but that's the first step.